7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Unlock your full potential. Hello and welcome to another video where I share with you the secrets of success and personal development. Today, I'm going to talk about the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, based on the best-selling book by Stephen R. Covey. These habits are not just tips or tricks, but principles that can help you align your actions with your goals and values. By practicing these habits, you can unlock your full potential and achieve anything you want in life. But before we dive into the habits, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos like this one. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Habit 1. Be proactive. The first habit of highly successful people is to be proactive. This means taking responsibility for your life and not blaming others or circumstances for your problems. Proactive people focus on what they can control and influence, rather than what they can't. They don't wait for things to happen, they make things happen. They act instead of react. Being proactive means choosing your response to any situation, based on your values and goals. You can use the power of your imagination and creativity to envision the future you want, and then take action to make it a reality. You can also use the power of your conscience to guide your decisions and actions, based on what is right and wrong. To be proactive, you need to recognize that you have a circle of influence and a circle of concern. Your circle of influence includes the things that you can do something about, such as your attitude, your behavior, your skills, your relationships, etc. Your circle of concern includes the things that you care about, but can't do much about, such as the weather, the economy, the politics, etc. Proactive people focus on their circle of influence, and by doing so, they expand it over time. Reactive people focus on their circle of concern, and by doing so, they shrink their circle of influence over time. The more you focus on what you can control, the more control you will have. To practice this habit, you need to change your language from reactive to proactive. For example, instead of saying I have to or I can't, say I choose to or I can. Instead of saying that's just the way I am or he makes me so mad, say I can change or I control my feelings. By changing your language, you change your mindset from being a victim to being a creator. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. The second habit of highly successful people is to begin with the end in mind. This means having a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life, and then aligning your actions with that vision. Beginning with the end in mind means living with purpose and direction, rather than drifting or conforming. To begin with the end in mind, you need to create a personal mission statement that defines who you are, what you value, what you want to do, and why you want to do it. Your mission statement is like a blueprint for your life, that guides your decisions and actions. It helps you stay focused on what matters most to you, and avoid distractions and temptations. To create your mission statement, you need to ask yourself some questions, such as, what are my roles and responsibilities in life? What are my strengths and talents? What are my passions and interests? What are my goals and dreams? What are my core values and principles? How do I want to be remembered by others? Once you have answered these questions, write down your mission statement in a clear and concise way. You can use words, pictures, symbols, or anything that helps you express yourself. Then review your mission statement regularly, and revise it as needed. To practice this habit, you need to set SMART goals that are aligned with your mission statement. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying I want to be healthy, say I will exercise for 30 minutes every day for the next 3 months. By setting SMART goals, you make them more realistic and attainable. Habit 3. Put first things first. The third habit of highly successful people is to put first things first. This means prioritizing your activities based on their importance and urgency, rather than their ease or preference. Putting first things first means managing your time and energy effectively, rather than wasting them on trivial or unimportant things. To put first things first, you need to use the time management matrix that divides your activities into 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1. Important and urgent. These are the things that require your immediate attention, such as crises, emergencies, deadlines, etc. You need to do these things, but you also need to minimize them by planning ahead and preventing problems. Quadrant 2. Important and not urgent. These are the things that contribute to your long-term goals and values, such as planning, learning, building relationships, etc. You need to focus on these things, as they are the key to your success and happiness. Quadrant 3. Not important and urgent. These are the things that seem urgent, but are not really important, such as interruptions, distractions, phone calls, etc. You need to avoid these things, as they are the source of stress and frustration. Quadrant 4, not important and not urgent. These are the things that have no value or benefit, such as entertainment, gossip, browsing the internet, etc. You need to eliminate these things, as they are the source of waste and regret. To practice this habit, you need to plan your week ahead of time, and schedule your activities according to their quadrants. You need to allocate enough time for Quadrant 2 activities, as they are the most important ones. You also need to be flexible and adaptable, as your priorities may change during the week. Habit 4, think win-win. The fourth habit of highly successful people is to think win-win. This means seeking mutual benefit and cooperation in all your interactions with others, rather than competition or compromise. Thinking win-win means having an abundance mentality, rather than a scarcity mentality. An abundance mentality is the belief that there is enough for everyone, and that by helping others succeed, you also succeed. A scarcity mentality is the belief that there is not enough for everyone, and that by helping others succeed, you lose something. To think win-win, you need to have 3 traits. Character, you need to be honest, trustworthy, respectful, and fair. Relationships, you need to build trust and rapport with others, and understand their needs and concerns. Agreements, you need to negotiate win-win agreements that are clear, mutual, and beneficial. To practice this habit, you need to avoid win-lose or lose-win situations, where one party gains at the expense of another. You also need to avoid lose-lose situations, where both parties lose something. Instead, you need to seek win-win or no-deal situations, where both parties gain something or agree to disagree. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. The fifth habit of highly successful people is to seek first to understand, then to be understood. This means listening empathically to others before expressing your own thoughts or opinions. Seeking first to understand means being genuinely curious and interested in others, rather than judging or criticizing them. To seek first to understand, you need to use 4 skills. Mirroring, you need to reflect back what the other person is saying or feeling, without adding or changing anything. Rephrasing, you need to restate what the other person is saying in your own words, without losing the meaning or emotion. Reflecting, you need to express how you think the other person feels or what they value or want. Validating, you need to acknowledge and appreciate the other person's perspective or experience. To practice this habit, you need to avoid interrupting or advising others when they are speaking. You also need to avoid projecting your own assumptions or biases onto them. Instead, you need to ask open-ended questions and listen attentively and respectfully. Habit 6, synergize. The sixth habit of highly successful people is to synergize. This means combining the strengths and differences of others to create something better than what anyone could do alone. Synergizing means valuing diversity and creativity, rather than conformity and uniformity. To synergize, you need to have 3 elements. Trust, you need to have a high level of trust with others, based on character and competence. Communication, you need to have a high level of communication with others, based on understanding and respect. Collaboration, you need to have a high level of collaboration with others, based on contribution and cooperation. To practice this habit, you need to seek out different perspectives and ideas from others. You also need to be open-minded and willing to learn from others. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles or conflicts as threats, you need to see them as opportunities for growth and innovation. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. The seventh habit of highly successful people is to sharpen the saw. This means renewing yourself regularly in 4 dimensions: physical, mental, emotional/social, and spiritual. Sharpening the saw means taking care of yourself and maintaining a balance in your life. To sharpen the saw in each dimension: physical, you need to exercise regularly, eat healthily, sleep well. Mental, you need to read books, learn new skills, solve problems. Emotional/social, you need to build relationships, express feelings, serve others. Spiritual, you need to meditate, pray, connect with the supernatural. To practice this habit, you need to schedule time for each dimension every day or week. You also need to review your progress and make adjustments as needed. By sharpening the saw, you enhance your ability to practice the other 6 habits, and you increase your effectiveness and happiness. Conclusion. So, these are the 7 habits of highly successful people that can help you unlock your full potential. I hope you found this video useful and inspiring. If you did, please leave a comment below and let me know which habit you're going to work on first. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.